Welcome to another Tech Help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I'm your instructor, Richard Rost. Today we're going to talk about that runtime error 3061. I get asked about this all the time. Too few parameters. But I'm not looking for any parameters. Well, yeah, Access is. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to show you how to fix it, what causes it, and hopefully we'll get you fixed. But before we start, this, of course, is a developer level video. What does that mean? Well, if you've never done any VBA programming before, go watch this video. It'll get you started. And if you've never worked with a record set before, or you want to learn my way, the correct way of running a record set, well, go watch this video. These are both free videos. They're on my YouTube channel. They're on my website. Go watch them and come on back. All right, when you got too few parameters warning message popping up, it usually means one of these things. It's almost always associated with you using a record set, or it could be a query def, but I'm going to focus on record sets since most people use those all the time. You've got it based on a parameter query, which that's the obvious one. Your field names don't match or they're misspelled. You've got a field reference inside your SQL string, which Access can't figure out. Your data types don't match. You're using a reserved word for a table or field name. All right, those are the big ones. Let's take a look at each one of these. All right, here I am in my Tech Help free template. This is a free database. You can grab a copy off my website if you want to. And here I've got a simple customer LFQ. The whole purpose of this is to simply put last name and first name together so we can use it in the combo box. Really simple, right? Design view, there you go. No parameters, right? If you run it, you get that. So let's write a record set real quick to just open this guy up and give me, let's say, the first record, right? Really simple. We did this in the record sets video. Design view, come in here. Make this a little bit bigger real quick. I should just make this bigger in the template. I'm always resizing it. All right, inside a hello world, we're going to open up a record set. All right, let's set our variables here. Dim rs as a record set. We'll say set rs equals current db.open record set. What are we opening up? Customer LFQ. Okay, and then we're just going to status. The name is rs, what is it, LF, I believe, in this table. And then we're going to say rs.close, set rs equals nothing, clean everything up. All right, debug, compile, switch back over to Access, hit the button, and there you go. Works perfectly fine. Now, the problem comes in where, let's say you want to get a specific customer. So let's say you've got the customer form open, and you want to get the LF for James Kirk, customer ID 2. All right, and in your query now, let's say you've added a parameter in here. So this criteria here is going to be equals forms, customer F, customer ID. Okay, save it. Now, if you run the query, it works perfectly fine as long as this form's open. Okay, but if you come over here and you try to run this now, watch what happens. Too few parameters. Why is that? Well, the record set doesn't know what that parameter is. It can't get it off the form. Now, the solution is to simply take the parameter out of here, right? Get rid of that parameter from the query, and now put it inside the record set. So you can say here, select star from that where customer ID equals, and then you put your form field out here. Let me make this 2 lines here real quick. In fact, what I like to do is when these SQL statements start to get complicated, let's throw them in their own variable. SQL as string, and up here we'll say SQL equals, we'll take this guy, cut it out, put SQL in there, we'll stick it up here. Okay? Where customer ID equals forms customer F customer ID. Now, the SQL statement up here can read what's on the form and use that inside the record set. And now it works just fine. So don't use queries that have parameters in them. Okay, that's the biggie. What's the next one? Field names don't match or are misspelled. This is by far the number 2 one. It's almost always someone's got something spelled wrong. Okay, let's say I come in here and instead of customer ID, I've got customer ID, like that. Save it, come out here, run it, and 2 feed parameters expecting 1. And this is obvious, right? But I've had people that have, I get some of the craziest emails of people that have the longest, weirdest table and field names, and it just looks like word and letter soup. I had somebody post in my forums this morning or yesterday, and I was like, you got to clean this up. It's just weird. X563_2. No, it's impossible, especially if you're building an SQL string and it's inside of a string like that. You're not going to get a compile error. You got to make sure everything is spelled right, people. Spelling is very important in Access, especially when you get to VBA programming. Right? If you have a spelling error outside, if you got it down here, let's say you think first name is in this record set, and you try to run that. That gives you, item not found in this collection, and in debug, it'll take you right to, oh, okay, yeah, there's no first name in here. Okay, but if the spelling error is inside your string like that, it's very hard to catch. So double check all your spelling. I had one just the other day I was doing on my personal database. I've got a field called text from website, and in my string, in my SQL string, I put text from web, and I got the same error message. I do it myself all the time. All right, the next one is I've got field reference inside the SQL string. Now this one, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's very hard to tell when. So I always defer to keeping the field reference outside the string. Let me demonstrate. So the way I wrote this is the way I prefer to write this. You put forms customer F, customer ID outside the string. What happens is this forces VBA to evaluate that first, and that will convert that to a 2 or whatever the value is before building the string, and then that string where customer ID equals 2 gets sent to open record set. If you do it the other way, if you put it like this, then that is what gets sent to the SQL in the open record set, and it can't always evaluate it. See? Okay? So try to always get in the habit of putting anything that needs to be evaluated like that outside of your string. This works fine a lot of the times in just building queries or in form references, but when you're dealing with record sets, that has definitely, I'd say 99% of the time, has to be outside the string. All right, so just get in the habit of doing this everywhere you can. All right, next up, data types don't match. I see this mostly where people forget to put quotes around string values. For example, we have to change our query a little bit for this one. Let's modify our query, and let's add last name to the query. So now the query has the last name by itself in it as well. Okay, and let's say we want to look up the customer where the last name is equal to the last name on the customer form. Okay, so we have to come over here, and now I'm going to say where. Let's just change it here. Where last name equals customer F last name, right? Where the last name in the query, which we have now, we added it, equals the last name on the customer form. Got it? Okay. Run it. Why is that? Well, because, anybody? You got it? This is a string. I kind of told you up front, didn't I? I shouldn't have done that. This has to be a string. So you have to have your double quotes inside of here. Okay? Double quote there, and double quote there, right? Because this gets converted to a double quote, and then this gets converted to a double quote inside the string. So it ends up looking like last name equals Rost inside the string, right? Everybody with me? And if you don't know about that, I got videos on double quotes. I'll put links to those down below. You can read about that and watch my videos. And we don't use single quotes. We don't use single quotes. I know a lot of other data, like SQL, uses single quotes for strings. In Access, we don't do that. You can. You can, and it'll work sometimes, right? But what if the last name you're looking for is this? Right? I got to move off it and back on it. Now what happens? See, you get a syntax error because there's a single quote inside the name. And then you'd have to go escaping the single quotes and blah, blah, blah. No, just use double quotes. It's Microsoft Access. Use double quotes. You're going to run into single quotes in fields, especially name fields, a lot more often than you're going to run into double quotes in fields. So just trust me. Just get used to the double quotes, people. Just do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Bacardi Cola. Do it. Movie quote. Who got it? All right. You'll also get this kind of an error message if you try to, let's say, send a string value when it's expecting a date. Like you get start date. You get something like start date equals, 1/1/2000. And I know, again, a lot of other databases like SQL Server wants this, right? But no, Access wants $signs around dates. So keep that in mind. If your data types don't match, if it's expecting a string and you send it a number, that sometimes works. But if it's expecting a numeric value and you send it a string, you're going to get an error message. Okay? Okay. Next one is you're using a reserved word for a table or field name. Got to watch these reserved words. I got a whole video coming up on reserved words pretty soon. The ins and outs of using reserved words. But this can cause a problem here too. What's a reserved word? Well, it's a word you shouldn't use as a table or field name. Let's, for example, go to our customer table and hit Design View. And let's add another field in here called just name. Now, I see this a lot. People use name. And in the old days, Access didn't used to warn you. But props to the Access team, the developer team at Microsoft. If you try making a field now that's just name or one of the other serious reserved words, it yells at you. Okay, if you use a reserved word, you may receive an error. So this is relatively new. I haven't seen this before. Hit OK. So they must have just added that. It still lets you do it, but you shouldn't. I know a lot of people, I get databases that I look at all the time, like event planning. They got event, instead of event name, they just got name, right? Date, name. No. Don't use name, don't use date. I got a list of serious ones. Here's my list I've been compiling. The bold ones are the super ones, never use them. The other ones, you shouldn't use them, but you can if you want to. But like name, date, day, hour, year, don't use those as field names, ever, period. Again, I got a whole video on this coming up. One of my admins, Alex, has been keeping a list of reserved words on the website for years now, so we're going to go through them. But this is the kind of thing that can cause problems. If you got reserved words in your field names, you're going to have problems all over your code, but you can have problems with your record sets too, and you might get that error message that we're talking about today, right? The too few parameters. Don't use reserved words in your tables, okay? Okay. Now, if you've run through and you've checked all these things and you're still getting a weird error message, go check out my troubleshooter. It's on my website. I try to keep it updated as much as possible when new things come up. And just run down the list, right? Restart Access, restart all Access databases, compact and repair. I've seen databases with corruption issues in them cause weird error messages, including this one. So just give it a quick compact and repair. Make sure your database is fine. Run down all these different things, right? And then I tried to list these in the order of most common and easiest to check. With as you go down the list, it becomes less common and a little more difficult, right? Restart Office, reboot the PC, reboot your machine clean, right? All that stuff. Just, go down the list, okay? Okay. So hopefully by now you've resolved your too few parameters problem, right? And it usually comes from something wrong set up with your query or your record set. Speaking of record sets, if you want to learn more about record set programming, check out my Access Developer 16 class. I start covering record sets and how to use them to fill multi-select list boxes. That's pretty cool, right? Got to throw my little tiny bit of advertising in there. Okay, so that's going to be your Tech Help video for today. I hope you learned something. I hope this helped someone, right? I hope you, if you were Googling trying to fix this error, I hope this video helped you fix your database because Access is awesome and I want everyone to be able to use their databases. So, live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and post any comments you may have below. I do try to read and answer all of them as soon as I can. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, which is completely free. Click the bell icon and select all to receive notifications when new videos are posted. Want to learn more? Click the Show More link below the video to find additional resources and links. YouTube does a pretty good job of hiding it. It's right down there. See this part of the description here, right? The name, the video's up here. There's a little Show More down there, right down the bottom. It's kind of hard to find. But once you click on that, you'll see a list of other videos, additional information related to the current topic, free lessons, and lots more. And YouTube no longer sends out email notifications when new videos are posted like they used to do. But if you'd like to get an email every time I post a new video, click on the link to join my mailing list. And you can pick how frequently to get emails from me, either as they happen, daily, weekly, or monthly. Now, if you'd like to become a paid member of my channel and receive all kinds of awesome perks, click on the Join button. You'll see a list of all the different membership levels that are available, each with its own special perks, including my extended cut videos, access to my code vault, lots of VBA source code in there, template downloads, and lots more. I'll talk more about these perks at the end of the video. Even if you don't want to commit to becoming a paid member and you'd like to help support my work, please feel free to click on the tip jar link. Your patronage is greatly appreciated and will help keep these free videos coming. I got some puppies to feed. But don't worry, no matter what, these free tech help videos are going to keep coming. As long as you keep watching them, I'll keep making more, and they'll always be free. Now, if you really want to learn Access and you haven't tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access, including building forms, queries, reports, and more. It's over 4 hours long. You can find it on my website or on my YouTube channel. I'll put a link down below you can click on. And did I mention it's completely free? The whole thing, free, 4 hours. Go watch it. And okay, a lot of you have told me that you don't have time to sit through a 4-hour course. So I do now have a quicker Microsoft Access for Beginners video that covers all the basics faster in about 30 minutes. And no, I didn't just put the video on fast forward. But I'll put a link to this down below as well. Now, if you like level 1, level 2 is just $1. That's it, $1. And that's another whole 90-minute course. Level 2 is also free for paid members of any level, including supporters. So if you're a member, go watch level 2. It's free. Okay, want to get your question answered in a video just like this one? Visit my Tech Help page and send me your question there. Members get priority, of course. While I do try to read and respond to all of the comments posted below in the comments section, I only have time to go through them briefly a couple of times a month, and sometimes I get thousands of them. So send me your question here on the Tech Help page, and you'll have a better chance of getting it answered. And while you're on my website, be sure to stop by my Access forum. We've got lots of lively conversations about Microsoft Access and other topics. I have a fantastic group of moderators who help me answer questions. Shout out to Alex, Kevin, Scott, Adam, John, Dan, Juan, and everybody else who helps out on the site. I appreciate everything you do. I couldn't do it without you. Be sure to follow my blog, find me on Twitter, and of course on YouTube. Yeah, I'm on Facebook too, but I don't like Facebook. Don't get me started. Now, let's talk more about those member perks if you do decide to join as a paid member. There are different levels: silver, gold, platinum, and diamond. Silver members and up get access to all of my extended cut Tech Help videos, one free beginner class every month, and some other perks. Gold members get all the previous perks, plus access to download the sample databases that I build in my Tech Help videos, plus access to my code vault where I keep tons of different functions that I use, the code that I build in most of the videos. You'll also get higher priority if you do submit any Tech Help questions. Now, answers are never guaranteed, but you do go higher in the list for me to read them. And if I like your question, you got a good chance of it being answered. You'll also get one free expert level class each month after you've finished the beginner series. Platinum members get all the previous perks plus even higher priority for Tech Help questions. You get access to all of my full beginner level courses for every subject. And I cover lots of different subjects like Word, Excel, VBA, ASP, lots of different stuff, not just Access. These are the full-length courses found on my website. You get all the beginner ones. In addition, once you finish the expert classes, you get one free developer class per month. So lots of training. And finally, you can also become a Diamond sponsor. You'll have your name or your company name listed on a sponsors page that will be shown on each video as long as you're a sponsor. You'll get a shout out in the video and a link to your website or product in the text below the video and on my website. So that's it. Once again, my name is Richard Rost. Thank you for watching this video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something today. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you again soon.